I will call the Concord Carlisle policy, oops, someone's computer.
You, yeah.
Sorry. Policy meeting to order. It is 5:02. And we have Carrie Patel on Zoom, and Sharon Witt is not able to make it.
So we have to roll call in if Carrie's on Zoom?
So we have to roll call in. Okay. You want to start us off?
Oh, Anderson present.
Booth present.
Morano present.
Rainey present.
Tell present.
Rankin present. And again, Sharon Witt is unable to make it today. She's traveling for work. Okay, so we have 17. Our goal today is to get through the rest of the J policies. But first, we're going to start with public comment. Is there anyone? Nobody's in the room. Is there anybody on Zoom who wants to make a comment about our policies that we're reviewing today? I don't see anyone. Okay. So we are going to try to get through these 17 J policies, and that will conclude our going through the whole book over how many years? 10? Any?
Yeah, at least.
Okay. So
We should be celebrating, but it's hard to when you know you immediately have to go back.
Okay, so I'm just going to go one by one through each of these. There's only a couple with changes. We had some feedback from the school nurse on a couple of them. The rest of them seem to be relatively straightforward. Okay, so student welfare is the first one. It's largely the same, with the only difference being in the fire drills section. The new versions that is titled fire drills and reporting, and just outlines how the principal of a school or the leader of a school building would report any type of fire drill or fire activity. I don't think there's anything controversial, but obviously I leave that to you all to discuss.
Do you have a recommendation?
I think we take the MASC version.
Okay.
I just had a question,
Yeah.
because it's a district policy, at least from, if I read it correctly, the first two paragraphs just talk about like student supervision and how they're never to be left alone, but that doesn't actually happen at the high school. So is that addressed somewhere else, like in the handbook or something?
You know, Carrie, I had that same thought because the way it's written is a little younger in orientation.
Right, and it writes like, students will only be let out to their parents, which that doesn't happen at the high school. So do we have a paragraph about that, like at a certain age, at a certain level, those don't really apply?
Wonderful catch.
Yeah, those are really
Yeah,
good
I had
questions.
that. She's spot on.
So
You could add an as age appropriate or something like that as a caveat to the whole thing.
But when does that occur?
Well, so these are MASC policies also for so if you're in another district, they're pre-K through 22 anyway, right, another district. So the MASC is recommending this for all their districts.
Right, but
So
Tracy, we're not going to be able to adhere to the policy.
Right.
Right,
So
right.
either we should go back to them, maybe point this out, instead of trying to
Or maybe
craft.
we just add our language that
Yeah, I think
reflects what we do.
could we recommend an added, anyone have a wonderful, brilliant idea?
Yeah, I'd propose going back to MASC to see if they want to, because at the very least, it's a courtesy to them, because this is not unique to us.
Sure.
Let them know that we didn't move ahead with it as written because, and then either they take a stab at it or we do.
Okay, I can do that, or I can, you know what, I'll just send my notes to Sharon, and then she and I can figure out how to move forward. But the question is, do you want, as a follow-up, one of us to draft that language in here, or do we have a thought on what an age-appropriate age is? I mean, I know
I think it would be the high school.
just the high school.
Well, can I, sorry, I know.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't know what you guys do in Concord, but I, like, middle school, our kids are allowed to leave middle school without us, so.
Nope.
Well,
Not in
no.
Concord.
Yeah, in fourth grade, my fourth grader can leave school without me.
No, he was released after school.
Yeah.
He can't leave during the day.
Oh, no.
Why don't we send it back to central administration for the question, is MASC appropriate for our K-8? knowing that it's not appropriate for the district, the regional district. And if we have to create two policies, we do.
Okay.
We do that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, we could just have a
Right.
JLR.
If it's silent on which
that be how it would
district
be?
it applies to both.
Okay,
Yeah, I think.
Because to your point, Cynthia, this is during school hours, even K-8, they're released into custody of parents. But to your point, at the conclusion of school hours, that changes as early as grade
by the
4, but
regs.
this wouldn't be relevant here.
okay, great. So either Sharon or I will go back to MASC.
Okay, great.
All right, so
Thank you, Carrie Patel.
yeah, good catch, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I see this as only being more comprehensive, the changes that the MASC is making.
Which one?
The changes that they're suggesting are just more comprehensive, which I
Oh,
think is
yeah.
good.
Okay, so the next policy is JLA, which is Student Insurance Program.
Oh, is that new?
So we have it, MASC does not have it.
Oh,
They
okay.
eliminated it, I did find it, they eliminated it in 2020 as a small list of ones that they considered redundant and unnecessary.
Okay, so,
We're removing this.
I mean, that would be
We
the
don't do
recommendation.
this, correct?
We offer, but we don't need a policy that says that, the law says that. So I think that was their lens, because you'll hear that a few other times tonight. It seems if the law was really clear, they didn't feel the need to have a policy that repeated the law.
And then we have a travel policy that I would imagine does mention insurance or the fact that we impose conditions. And then
Which policy?
food insurance, travel.
Oh, yeah.
So if we simply eliminate this entirely, we don't have to reference travel at all. It's elevated.
Stands on its own.
Okay, so we recommend that we remove it. Okay. The next one is JLB, which is Student Allergy Policy. I assume this goes in the same category of it's irrelevant because it's law.
That is, I couldn't find it in any
Yeah.
updates because it
I
must
couldn't either.
predate 2020, but that is usually the threshold to which they eliminate. Either they're redundant to a different policy or redundant to the law.
Because I was trying to see if it was moved just into another policy, and it doesn't look like.
Are we going to have our messaging ready if people who have great and grave concerns about anaphylaxis? ask
So
us
there is
why?
actually policy around that, around
I
EpiPens.
just want to be ready
Yeah,
to point them
yeah.
there. That's
Yeah.
all. Because I think this does, it's sensitive for some families.
There's policies around like at what age you can carry your own EpiPens and administer it, things like that. So
Yeah,
there
as long
is.
as we're ready to direct
Yeah.
them to
Okay.
stands.
Okay, so recommend we'll remove that one. JLC, Student Health Services and Requirements. This one is largely the same.
I did bring the health policies to Lisa Koski, and she also shared some of it with Erin Jonkis. So she had a couple of edits to the MASC version, just to have the language match what we do. So in the bullet, the first bullet that starts provision for care beyond first aid, about halfway down, rather than using emergency card, as they label it, we use an emergency health form to list allergies or diseases the student might have, which is electronic. And then the last bullet, prompt reporting by teachers to the principal, we want to change designate a nurse. Prompt reporting by teachers to the principal or nurse of any accident or serious illness.
Or not, okay.
Or nurse, not designate nurse.
Principal or nurse, yep.
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Is everyone comfortable with that? Okay, so we will recommend that we accept the MASC version with Lisa Koski's edits. The next one is JLC, let's see.
JLCA, is it, the next one?
Hold on,
CA, I think we have in here.
Yes.
JLC, Physical Examinations of Students, yeah. This one, same thing. Do you want to go through Lisa's edits on this one? Great.
And I'm sorry I didn't send this to you, I didn't realize she had a whole paragraph replaced rather than a few words to wordsmith. So her recommendation in seeing the MASC policy is that instead of the third paragraph, we would replace it with this, and I'm sorry, again, I'm sorry I don't have it
So
typed
we're
out for
gonna,
you.
we're gonna alter it on the MASC policy. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Third paragraph.
Every candidate for a school athletic team will present the sign, so it's similar, you'll have to help me find the differences. Will present the signed consent of parent or guardian in order to participate on a squad, period. In addition to the signed consent, a written report stating the student's fitness to participate in school athletics and signed by the student's healthcare provider will be sent to the school nurse.
Yep.
So this one references the school physician.
Right, the school physician is not,
That's
Part of the
not what we
process.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
Is healthcare provider definitive enough for?
Lisa seems to think so in the way she interacts with families.
Yeah, because I think in some cases you're getting a physical by a nurse practitioner,
Yeah,
not a doctor.
I think it's meant to be broader than the doctor because of the way doctors' offices operate.
And then she had a second edit on this one.
Correct, and the fifth paragraph, she wanted to remove, let me read the sentence the way it's written. Whenever the school nurse finds a child suffering from any disease or medical problems, the situation will be reported to the parent or guardian if remedial treatment is recommended. So you're deleting that in writing or by personal visit. What she's really focused on is the visit, but she doesn't need the in writing either. And a copy of the record will be kept in the student's school medical record. So that's what she wants to replace the last sentence with.
And that's irrespective of whether parent was notified or not.
Yes.
I don't know, it strikes me as a little squishy. If remedial treatment is you said required?
Is recommended. She didn't change
Okay.
that language.
What does that mean?
That means if the nurse thinks something needs to be followed up on, she's
it's not
sharing it with the parent and documenting it.
That's,
Like if you fall down and scrape your knee and you get a Band-Aid, there's no follow-up. But if you break your arm and you have to go see a doctor,
So it's a way to document the recommendation,
right.
I think is the bottom line.
Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yep.
okay, so the next one is JLCB, which is so, sorry, for that one, is everyone comfortable saying we would recommend MASC version with Lisa Koski's edits?
So I haven't gone through all the MGL, but does any of this language derive from law?
Which, are you back on, are we on
LCA?
JLC?
I think I checked all the cross-references and the legal references. I don't think
I'm
any of
clicking on
them
the links and I
changed.
can't find, it's not,
No, the links
you have to search, I guess.
aren't working, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think they've changed from ours, but.
What were you, what?
No, I'm saying any of the language in the policy from MGL.
Oh, I see.
I doubt it,
Why
but
don't I put that as like a follow-up action item?
that sounds good.
So we
Yeah, if
don't
you're going to
spend
talk to
time doing that
MASC
now.
anyway, yeah. Just
Go
ask another
through
question.
MGL.
See, their links are,
Cynthia,
yeah.
can I just give you a little heads up on that?
Yeah.
As a nurse and a school nurse, there are things that, like, if a kid hits their head
Oh, yes.
and
She's a better
we,
person to answer that.
we call the parents, we let them know, we assess them, at least in, thank goodness, knock on wood, in my experience, the kid, they return to class, they're fine. But we allow them to know that, like, if they see any symptoms of concussion, they should follow up with that. We can't make them follow up with that.
Yep.
We can only make recommendations. Same with like, we've had kids who failed the eye exam and we send out recommendations, you need to get your kid's eye checked. We can't make them do that. We've literally had that before where kids they never got their glasses. So there's some stuff that we can assess for and we can recommend to the parents that we think this is what you should do, but we can't force them to. So, but we document that we need to try.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yep.
Okay. The next one is communicable diseases, JLCC. JLCV, I'm sorry, immunization of students. This one, the new MASC language is written slightly different, but the sentiment is largely the same. So I don't have any problem recommending the MASC version, but I obviously want to hear from all of you.
It's interesting, the language is like softer.
Yeah, it's more concise. Oop.
But to your point, I think the requirements and the exceptions are largely the same. It's just a
What about the
largely
McKinney?
stylistic.
I think they removed McKinney-Vento because it's part of the law, and they didn't see the need to restate it.
Yeah.
But this is all the law, right?
Yeah.
That's my hypothesis, is why they removed that. I can't say otherwise, but.
But that's the federal law, not a state law. Okay.
This is the MGL 7615 is, you have to have an immunization report in order to go to school.
With these
With these exceptions, with these exceptions,
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
So we default to that of necessity.
Okay, so are we comfortable with this new language? Okay. All right, the next one is communicable diseases. Okay, so the first three paragraphs are all new. The legal reference, MGL 111.6 was listed on our version, it was dropped. It's the power to define diseases deemed dangerous to public health control and prevention.
Can I'm just,
Yeah.
what, does anyone know, maybe this would be a great question for Carrie. What would such a communicable disease be in?
COVID certainly was in that category for a while.
Yeah.
COVID was, and measles, it's making a comeback,
Yeah, okay.
so.
Yeah,
anything
it's so,
like that.
in my mind, I was thinking of disease as permanent, but it can be temporary too. I've,
Yep.
ignorant on my part. Yep, got it. Thank you.
Does Lisa have any?
No, she didn't. She thought this was fine the way it was.
Okay.
Okay, so recommend the MASC version.
Yep.
School attendance for students with HIV/AIDS, JLCCA and JLCCAE, AIDS school attendance policy. These two are both no longer recommended by the MASC. Recommend that we remove them as well.
Yep.
Feels
Everyone comfortable with that?
good. Yes.
Okay.
Chuck 'em.
Okay. Great, JLCD is medication administration. The new name is administering medicines to students. The first paragraph is new and they've added exceptions. Again, I'm comfortable with the MASC version. What do you all think?
Well, here's your, yeah.
I'm comfortable with that. And Lisa also reviewed this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Cynthia, anything on this one?
No, I'm glad to hear. It's good.
Okay.
It references Narcan.
Yep.
I'm a big fan. Are we giving any additional thought to that? I know we decided no, if I'm correct. at the building level?
We have Narcan in the
Yeah,
buildings.
now? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
It's interesting because some districts, they keep the Narcan with their AED machine. I don't know where we keep ours.
Yeah,
but
it's in the nurse's office.
They have it available even outside, so in case anyone needed it. We learned that on one of our tours of the amenities buildings.
At that point, if somebody needed after school, when the nurses are gone, would they have any access?
The Narcan? That I don't know, I can find out. We definitely,
Especially at the, obviously at
Yeah.
the schools.
Yep.
yeah, we have to make sure
It's not out of the
that,
question that something could happen.
yeah, no, you're right. We have to make sure that kids who self-administer, the list of exceptions that are here, they have to have access to their meds.
Yep.
So I can check on the Narcan.
But I don't think that wouldn't change the policy, that's just a.
No.
Yeah, no, it's just a
Yeah.
question.
It would not.
No, and the law is on our side as to who has access to it.
In Westford, it was like
It was
in their
literally
amenities building.
In their amenities building, in the AED machine.
Yeah.
So if community members were outside and it's
Available.
available
I
and
remember
accessible.
that, actually, now that you say it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to JLD, which is, sorry, just to confirm, we're recommending that we accept the MASC version. Okay, great. JLD, which is the guidance program, this one has been removed. I couldn't figure out why. Is it adopted into another policy?
It was the same on the list in 2020. There were 3 of the ones we have on here that were deemed not necessary and redundant, so
Okay.
this was one of them.
Like, I looked for guidance, I mean,
They
yeah.
didn't elaborate beyond that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you're recommending removal of that, Carrie?
I mean, based on the MASC, I'm recommending removal. Yeah. But I don't,
Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, because there's some good language in here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I quite
But a lot of,
like a lot.
but a lot of the, like, the equity, like a lot of the language is found in other like,
Yeah,
probably.
and that it's.
It's
yeah.
just not housed under guidance. It's
Right.
housed in
Yes,
other
other
locations. But it's
places.
not, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like this policy, but I can see why it would be redundant.
I mean, surely if it's duplicative and all of these sentiments are covered elsewhere, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the recommendation is to just remove it.
Yeah. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the next one is reporting of child abuse and neglect. This one, again, MASC does not recommend. This was moved into JL, student welfare. So this is still covered, it's just been moved to a new policy.
Okay.
Okay.
And you said it's in the welfare policy?
It is, correct. And then, well, in the new welfare policy.
That we
That we
adopted.
adopt, but that we're recommending that we adopt, yeah.
So is there a 51A reference in that welfare one?
Let me check.
Or
There's 7137L. It says, okay, where did I find the language in here?
Shoot.
isn't that sort of our guiding light on
Is that one
our
in?
response, Lori?
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
So,
We can add that, we can add that.
well, it's just odd that if it's supposed to be
Yeah,
embedded
there's
in
reference to it. There's reference to, in reporting to authorities, suspected child abuse or
Oh,
neglect.
it says it up here, I was
Literally,
looking at the bottom.
yeah, it says it
You're
up top.
It says it in the actual context.
you.
Yeah.
You might want to put it, to Court's point,
Yeah,
why is it in the body and not in the list?
Yeah.
It's
Add
a
it in
little
the list.
strange.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like put a link to it in the list.
Yep, okay, I'll add that note.
Great.
Okay, the next one is student gifts and solicitations. I recommend that we remove this one. It doesn't exist in MASC. I think it's probably covered completely in the GBEBC, which is gifts to and solicitations by staff. I recommend we remove it as well. Everyone comfortable with that?
Give me one more sec.
While you're doing that, I'm going to make the note above there.
So just to be a little more specific, this references what teachers can ask or accept or expect. What about this second piece in the current one? Solicitation for charitable purposes from students will need approval. Do we still have that somewhere to your satisfaction, Lori? That we can't do, or can?
I think there's a fundraising policy that it's covering.
Yes, I remember we did
did that
that.
last
year.
Yeah.
Students don't have carte blanche to,
No,
okay,
students or staff.
thank you. So that's a remove?
Yeah,
Carrie?
yep. Okay. All right, so the next one, student fees, fines, and charges, JQ. This one is the same. There are no edits, so I think we just changed the date.
Oh, this is the same?
Yeah.
So it's a re-adopt, basically, with a new date.
Yep.
No, the first paragraph looks different to me. Remit charges,
Seems,
it's similar.
like it seems different.
While no
It
student
says,
will be-
well, no student instead of no student will be denied access.
Okay.
There's a little,
Oh,
will
so
be denied
while.
access.
But then it says about the, it also says all students will be required to remit charges and fines. That's addition, that's added in the
Added.
top paragraph.
Oh, it adds and fines, or.
that's the only change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with adopting theirs.
Okay, great, so we'll recommend that we adopt. the MASC.
Recommend adoption. Okay.
All right, JRA student records. They updated some of their legal references. They dropped the Board of Education and Mass Department of Education references. Student regulations adopted this one, these two at the bottom. Otherwise, it was largely the same.
I hope those transcripts are stored electronically. 60
Well,
years.
now they are. 60 years is that must be why they tell me there's a lot of boxes down the hall.
Yes.
That's all.
It's crazy.
I have boxes of records that just go to the basement.
60 years is a long.
That's a long time.
Okay, so
Okay.
are we comfortable with that and JRAR?
Wow, that's a long one.
Oh, that's, yeah.
That's going out,
It's going?
I'm asking.
The MASC does not have one.
Well, yeah, that's
Not
because it's a
anymore.
regional, yeah, right? Isn't it the same? It's just for the high school. I don't know, Lori, do you have any thoughts on this one?
So in looking at, a lot of the Rs have gone away over time, not all of them, but a lot of them, because they're more procedural than policy. That was always how Dorothy explained it to me. So many of the Rs, they decided were too based on process and procedure and not policy, and they've slowly eliminated a lot of them.
Yeah.
So should we remove this one?
Yeah, I don't think you needed it. It's very detailed on how we manage the records
Yeah.
rather than the oversight that's in the policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay. Next is student photographs.
You're going much too fast.
Want to eat my sandwich before the next meeting. I'm just kidding. I'm here all night, literally.
I'll be here all night.
Literally. Okay, last one, student photographs. This is largely the same, it's like reformatted, some slight language changes. I recommend we take the MASC.
Sure.
Support your recommendation.
Great, so that's a wrap.
Just one, we can actually follow through on this. These pictures will be made available for purchase, quote unquote.
So this feels very professional photographer-oriented. I guess that was one of my questions, was we take pictures all the time now because we're all walking around with phones. We have very strict rules on what we can do or not do with the
That doesn't
photos.
state this.
That's not what this is. This is like when the photographer comes in and takes the formal school photo.
I think
Yeah.
we need to tighten it up so that people
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
either accidentally or willfully misinterpret it, because it'd be a lot of time spent on something kind of silly.
I mean, although these say individual and/or class group pictures.
I think they mean like individual,
know,
like the
like,
face,
They
the
mean your
headshot,
picture
right?
day.
I still mean your picture, it's all
This
picture
means
day
picture
oriented.
day.
Yeah, so can we just name it?
Can we just name it as,
Professional photographers will,
Annual?
well, so, okay, so graduation has changed. You used to be able to purchase it, and now it was offered for free,
that's
which is
great.
still professional. It's great.
It's still professional, yeah.
You're still offering a service that's professional.
Yeah.
You don't have to, so, you don't have to have a professional photographer do
No.
it. We usually do,
Yeah,
but so I don't think we should make the schools hire a professional photographer.
no.
If a parent wants to volunteer to
Yeah.
I
photograph.
mean, you could almost just add the word professionally at the end of a couple of these sentences, and you'd be covering what their intention is.
I'm saying I don't want to
Parent
force.
organization,
Right.
student council, designated student committee.
I think you can just
I think
leave
you
it.
just leave it.
What's your concern about the,
It's not a big concern, but I simply wouldn't want somebody to get hung up on this. Any picture shall be made available for purchase. Because it's not any picture,
Right.
Yeah.
that's all.
It's just the culture has changed so much where we're taking so many informal pictures now. This doesn't really fit that. I
Yeah.
think if you're a lay parent, you're going to not necessarily assume it's professional at the
You
moment.
just say individual and/or class pictures may be professionally taken at the
Yeah,
facility.
something like that.
Or do we even go higher than that and just say that the school makes arrangements for, I don't know how to articulate it, but what we're after here is, we're talking about pictures that include everybody.
No,
This,
we're talking about individuals too.
but
Every
but
individual.
every individual.
Everybody has access.
Right, right.
So we just want to distinguish that from all the one-offs that are
Yeah.
happening every 3 seconds around here.
correct.
That's all.
What they're also saying is the money can go to the sponsoring.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
key to this policy, in my
yes.
Yeah.
opinion.
it's the money.
The principal approves,
Oh,
we don't approve,
sponsoring.
and the money goes back to the,
Yep.
To the PTGs.
And actually,
whatever.
yeah, principal's valid, because I don't,
yep.
we have different photographers and
How
different
about
schools.
this? Not that I'm trying to make work for anybody, but all of these organizations can cooperate, but it doesn't say who actually approves it, does it? Yes, it does. Well, there it's covered,
Principal,
right
yeah.
there. I'm satisfied now that I've finally
Okay.
read the damn
Yeah.
thing.
All right.
Third sentence does it. Principal is your backstop.
Okay, great. So recommend accept the MASC version.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I had the same questions. I'm like, huh, what about all the other pictures we took?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well done.
Great. The J's, the book is finished but not finished?
Yep,
Finished
Can we say that?
exactly.
It's never finished. let's
Never
be honest.
finished.
All right, you are going to adjourn from this meeting and then recall to order for 6 o'clock.
Okay, great.
Do you want to
The Concord School Committee.
I will call, I will, what, I adjourn,
adjourn the,
I adjourn the policy meeting.
No, we did roll call out
Roll call
because
out.
Carrie's
Roll call
out. You move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Anyone?
second,
Okay. Anderson, aye.
Booth, aye.
Morano, aye.
Rainy eye.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks,
Thanks, Carrie. We'll see you in a bit.